Spiritual women, when do you feel the most seen, the most heard within your relationships, especially with men? Because when you're not seen or you're not heard, you're going to attract toxic, narcissistic type men and wounded men. And when this happens, you're going to experience the whole series. Love bombs, back and forth, push and pull dynamics, this anxious avoidant trap. And you're going to be wondering what the heck is fundamentally wrong with you. And this is when your deepest wounds are going to be reflected to you, especially if you're dating someone who is on the narcissistic side. Because what ends up happening is this tug of war of this push and pull dynamic, which becomes love bombing. And it's always this constant, like they're running away from you. You're not feeling good enough. And the deepest wound that gets reflected is your worthiness. You start to step into being a people pleaser, and you'll have to and you'll have to feel like you have to do X, Y, and Z and be a specific way to get their love and approval and validation. And that's the hook. Because when you're doing that and they can sense that you're giving and giving and giving, and then they pull away, this distorts your mind to thinking you're not worthy. Because somewhere in your life, you experience maybe your parents not loving you, not getting their validation and approval. Maybe they worked long hours and they never got to love you the way you wanted to be loved. Maybe they abandoned you. Maybe you had a parent leave. But here's the thing. When you date these people, that's an inner reflection. Whatever in your relationship is being reflected to you, all relationships are a sacred hospital for the soul. And they're always reflecting the areas that you need to grow. And especially the other person as well. That's why setting clear expectations, honoring your voice, expressing your needs, and very clear boundaries of what you prefer in your reality. And that's why you go through this path to find out what you do want and what you don't want within relationship. But the key deciding factor is if your relationship is going in the right way, is if there's consistent improvement over time on both ends. It's not this, it feels like it's getting better, but then the same shit keeps happening. Because experiencing the same thing over and over, especially after setting clear expectations and boundaries and seeing the same result, that's the definition of insanity. And that's keeping you stuck in wanting and taking the bare minimum of what you actually deserve and want to experience in love and relationship, especially with men or women, whatever you're into. Because it feels like it's getting better and then it's actually going back to the same dynamic. That's the wrong direction. It has to be constantly getting better and the same things aren't happening. That's how you know you're both in it to do the work. And here's the biggest key factor about being in your feminine energy and allowing a masculine to love you, if that's your polarity. The ultimate balance is within both, being in your feminine and masculine. That's the ultimate spiritual goal for everybody. But we'll lean more one way or in the other based on, environment, mood, and just who we are as a being. The point is, though, the feminine is the surrendered receiver, and it works just like the law of attraction. When you finally surrender and you fully accept who you are and just you radiate that pure vibration of your soul, of who you want to be in this world and how you want to experience life, and you're not worried about outcomes because you're the surrendered receiver of the things you're going to attract, you're just letting people see your light and they come to you. And because you know who you are and you can set expectations and boundaries and you're not afraid to express them in a healthy, loving way in your surrendered feminine energy and know what you want, you're going to clearly repel those who aren't meant for you and those who they're going to say no. They don't want to respect you, and you could just say, all right, see you later. Boy, bye. Right? Because if they're not willing to respect your boundary, that rejection is just redirection. And consider it a blessing. It's protection from that dumpster fire connection. You get to move on and know more clearly what you want to experience. You finally attract that person that's like all loving, that you see the constant improvement. You are seeing the consistent change and they're respecting your boundaries and growing with you, and you guys are actually feeling that. Now you know what you're comfortable with and what you actually want. And this might be the one. But when there's not that consistent change over time, it might be time to go. All right, peace out.